The students of the Kyoto School branch have always had a less than stellar position within Jujutsu Kaisen's story. While they certainly had their moments during the Goodwill event, how they progressed as characters and their importance to the story being told has been negligible at best, save for Todo, Mechamaru, and Mai to a lesser degree. Since their last representative in Todo has fallen to the wayside, a breakdown of everyone is in order. Starting from least important to most important, let's open up the curious case of Kyoto with their resident witch, archer, and swordswoman. Momo and Miwa are made to introduce two concepts into the story. Momo brings to light the sexism of Jujutsu society and builds up Mai's struggle. Her character works opposed to Nobara, who doesn't care much for that stuff because it's not something she had to grow up experiencing and simply wants to express herself how she sees fit. Miwa is used to introduce the invaluable ability of simple domains. Her battle against Maki is more or less an establishing point of what simple domains can do, and to be a punching bag to hype up how strong Maki is, because she's really just getting bullied the entire fight. Kamo is a character personified by his duty as an heir to a sorcerer clan, providing a foil for Megami in that sense. He is supposed to have a big moment in the Culling Games, but Maki cuts him off to be the star of the show. Unfortunately, these three would go on to do nothing of note for a majority of the story, being replaced by characters who could use their abilities much better than they could. Urame's elemental sorcery is far greater than Momo's, Choso has far better applications of blood manipulation with parental issues to boot, and Kasakabe fights Sukuna using advanced simple domain techniques. It's a shame these three characters got more hype from the fanbase than they did in actual canon, Miwa being the prime subject of speculation after chapter 181, which amounted to nothing. However, the concepts they touched upon, like simple domains and the prejudice found within this society, would be continued through the characters they connect with most in Mai and Mechamaru. Mai Zenin is the definition of between a rock and a hard place, deciding between a home that actively discriminates against you versus a world where you will have to put your life on the line every single day. Her life is definitely a sad one, but her importance doesn't lie in her influence on the story directly, instead of relying on Maki to make any waves in it. She's a reminder of Maki's biggest mistake and the self-centered attitude which makes her a strong sorcerer. Again, unfortunately, like her three companions, she doesn't do much except show how horrible life as a woman can be under the Zenin clan. She does have a brief rivalry with Nobara, contrasting their two different approaches to life, but Momo pushes this conflict more than Mai does. Her creation technique is also outdone by Yorozu. Granted, she did complete Maki's Toji cosplay with the Soul Split katana. Jokes aside, her character's finale informing on the bad omen that comes with twins and sorcery is compelling and a great way to end her character. From being mad at her sister to understanding that she has nothing else to offer the world except a blade made for her sister to use. In a way, she lived as she died, wanting to be alongside her older sister to the very end. Mechamaru's role is twofold in this story. On the one hand, he's used to show how horrifying heavenly restriction can be, on the other, he's a double agent that works for Kenjaku. He fills both of these roles perfectly as his circumstances thanks to his heavenly restriction directly inform his decision to ally with Kenjaku in the first place. That very heavenly restriction puts him in a position similar to Maki, except he has a disfigured body versus constant prejudice and a need to achieve the impossible. A setup like this could have been used to push a narrative thread between these two, but his thread with Panda definitely fits him much better. Both of them are effectively walking, talking corpses. However, one of them is meant to be alive, whereas the other is privileged to be alive in the first place. The constant hatred Mechamaru displays for Panda is just a manifestation of his jealousy. In the context of his story, he's a teenage boy who can't even live a normal life, and his friends can only know half of who he is. That life is truly unfair, and yet, despite his previous feelings of jealousy, he listens to Panda's words after being defeated about not being envious of what others have. Instead, admire those traits, to be grateful for what he is, not hate what he isn't. It's a turning point for his character because it's probably what leads to his resolve to fight Mahito and Kenjaku. The old Mechamaru made that deal to get his body fixed so he could meet the friends he cherished so much face to face, but his indulgence of his feelings of inadequacy led to his death in this battle. Mahito was simply too much for him to handle. The hand that gives can also take away. Mechamaru's actions led to the death of several people, so this was his punishment. The help he offers in Shibuya is atonement for his past transgressions, and the protection he gives his classmates is a result of the time he spent with them. It was his last selfish action, and it was his true nature as their friend because he knew them well enough to know what they were and weren't capable of. Mechamaru is a character who began as a selfish, self-conscious person, but through his conversation with someone who understood what it meant to be less than human in a lot of ways, he grew. He grew to understand his circumstances don't define him, and how his hurt does not rule him. Unfortunately, he learned this lesson too slow, resulting in a sorrowful end for his character, with a lot of potential for combat. Speaking of great combat potential, Aoi Toto's start in the Goodwill event sees him as the perfect teacher type character for Yuji Itadori. Being that Toto hails from no special sorcerer family, he was recruited by a special grade sorcerer, and his attack style is remarkably simple. His ability to tutor Yuji makes the most sense. Tack on his colorful personality and he's just a lovable fool that knows how to fight and when to get serious. The biggest quirk he has is the question he proposes about the type of woman or man a person likes. While funny on the outside and his answer more than likely being influenced by his teacher, it's also a good way to gauge the potential of a sorcerer. Follow me here. Megumi's answer is nothing in specific, only requiring one trait for her to be viable for his affection. He has no visualization of what he wants in the physical aspects of his partner, which is what Toto disapproves of. Regardless of what anyone says, everyone has a type. Physical appearances matter whether someone says so or not when it comes to a lifelong attraction. Toto is very short-sighted, limited to the physical attraction, whereas Megumi is attracted to a character trait. Both of them are focused on one aspect of a person when there are three parts to everyone: the physical, the mental, and the soul. Those are what matter when you put them together, and that is taste. Megumi represents this mental preference well, with his Shikigami serving as his main game plan. He uses them to carry out complex planning to attack his enemies. Toto is purely physicality, using his technique to disorient his opponents so he can use his strength to harm them. They are two different types of characters who value two different types of fighting styles. The point of gauging potential is because Megumi lacks a true physical image. He doesn't have that more selfish, surface level part of his character necessary to grow, which is why he's boring. Toto is so strong and understands how to become stronger because he has that understanding. However, his technique is simple because he lacks such complexity in his partner, something best demonstrated by his love through Nobu Takada, a pop idol made to look conventionally attractive. These two opposing preferences inform these characters and their fighting styles, so it was a perfect time to introduce someone who perfectly balances these two aspects. Yuji Itadori recognizes the two aspects of a person. He likes tall girls with big butts for sure, but he also likes what women are capable of. Yuko's handwriting is something he finds beautiful despite her looks that are the complete opposite of what he prefers. Yuji and Toto's shared interest allows for their approaches to strength to meld together, sparking Yuji's growth as the story goes on. He's always there to pick Yuji up, and their fight against Mahito tells more of his character. In essence, once you choose the road of a sorcerer, you must tread that path without hesitation. You must channel the dreams, the thoughts of those who entrusted them to you. Delivering a message like this in the face of someone who disregards all of that is appropriate, and appearing to help Yuji again in similar circumstances was a wonderful full circle moment. Everyone in Kyoto plays a supporting role to another character in the Tokyo branch. Hell, Utahime's technique is literally a support technique. Although somewhat sad as a few of them had interesting curse techniques, it isn't like this fate of falling to the wayside doesn't happen to characters from the Tokyo branch as well. Inumaki, Panda, Megumi, and Kugisaki are key examples of this, so it's not relegated to just Kyoto. Going into this, I thought Mechamaru was going to be the one I would write the most about because his scenes, albeit few, are very compelling. Toto is someone I thought I could break down and be done with in a paragraph or two, but then I thought about his nature for assessing people's interest in a partner, and I ended up writing over 500 words relating to the guy. Crazy how stuff shakes out sometimes. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stay safe out there and have yourselves a damn good one. I'll see you all next time.